as Roger mentioned, we've known each other for a long time. And during that entire time and before then, because I was already in wonder at your work before we ever met, he has been, I think without any question, the most important person in conservation in whatever it was that time in your life.
Oh,
it was true for whales. It was true for whales when I was a kid or a young student in Stanford. It was true for the ocean after that. And you're not only an inspiration, but you are an effective inspiration, and that's a big deal.
Oh,
so, while we all, I think, obviously, appreciate you as a person, what's really, I hope, special for you is that I think we're of the same opinion that we appreciate what you've done.
Oh.
And to further embarrass you, which we're quite good at, actually, and I will defer now to my sisters who took a leading role in this part of the program. We are now going to show a video of your entire, you remember that TV show, This Is Your Life, Roger?
Oh my God.
So, you know, we get the 8th grade teacher up there to talk about how bad you were as a kid. So not quite that bad, but we have a video we'd like to show, which has been in preparation a little bit with help from various people who you know.
Holy mackerel.
Could we roll that, please?
God help you all.
I started years and years ago working on bats, then owls, then moths. These are 3 animals for which sound is incredibly important in their lives. And I began to think after about 10 years of doing this that all I was doing was entertaining myself. But I knew that the world was going to pieces and that nobody was doing much about it at the time. This was the late 60s. So I thought, well, maybe if I got to work on some animal for which sound is important, maybe I could be more helpful. So what I decided to do was to find something which you could do if the only thing you knew much about was acoustics of animals. And then I suddenly thought, whales. Ah, yes, there's an animal which at the time, the late 60s, was being killed at a rate of about 33,000 animals per year. And I thought if I could maybe do something with my understanding of sound in animals with whales, perhaps I could help them to change their fate. And I met a guy who had recorded some humpback whales, a man named Frank Watlington. He lived in Bermuda. And he played me a tape of the sounds, the songs, as we later discovered, Scott McVeigh and I, of humpback whales. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard from the wild, ever. I realized, my gosh, that's the way to get the attention of the world focused on whales. And it was somewhere in the middle of all these things that were going on that I went over to take part in a rally that was organized by Greenpeace. It was in Trafalgar Square, and I opened the rally, and then they had several celebrity speakers, one of whom was Lisa Harrow. And I had heard this incredibly intelligent voice, and so I was waiting to talk to her when she got to the foot of the grandstand that Greenpeace had set up, and we were still talking 3 hours later, and 10 weeks later, we were married in Vermont, where we now live. So every time Lisa did a play, I'd go and see her performances, not just one of them, but many I saw. And as I did this, I was watching the ability of this extraordinary person to speak to the world. And I thought, my God, suppose you could get a scientist backed up with that kind of ability to communicate with the people on Earth and to get across some of the messages that we as scientists know are so important. And so I thought, well, maybe we could do a show together. And art seems to fire one side of one's brain and details and facts the other. And I thought, suppose you came at people's minds from both sides. And I sat down and wrote one, and Lisa then began having wonderful input as to what it would be. It became Sea Change.
This new movement is humanity's immune response to resist and heal political disease, economic infection, and ecological corruption caused by ideologies.
And because the stakes are now so high, higher than they have ever been, our present predicament is actually the most singular opportunity for greatness ever offered to any generation in any civilization.
And if we don't seize this opportunity, what will our children make of our generation that let this planet and its beauty go to waste?
She's good, isn't she?
This is where the 8th grade teacher comes in, I think.
Oh, Scott.
So I'll just tell these folks, one of the first times we met, I don't remember exactly which was the first time, because there were a few like that, but I had been out on Regina Maris doing recordings, and we were out on the banks.
Oh, that's right.
And this is where the whales go in the wintertime, and this song went on, and I used up all the batteries and all the tapes for the entire project in one night, right? And I had like 24 hours or something like that of one whale singing. I remember coming back, and I visited Roger in Lincoln where he was living, and he had this laboratory. And I walked in there, and there were all of these kind of scrolls of sound audiograms of the whales, of the humpback whales. And it was the most amazing place. It was like this library of whale language, or whatever you want to call it, songs. And it was like walking into the British Museum, and seeing the Rhiine Papyrus or something. So here it was, here are all these keys to understanding something really important about humpback whales. And it was just the most impressive thing I'd ever seen. So anyway, I want to thank you for all your work.
Oh, God, thank you. You get a hug, babe. Oh, my God, beautiful. Thank you.
Hi.
There
Oh, and
you
we
go.
have some, where are they? Come on. As you know, you have a lot of fans here, including these guys.
Excuse me, this will take a while.
Oh, don't walk on the table. That'd be a bad idea. Yeah, okay.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, what do we all think of the Andersons? We all love them. They're wonderful human beings. God bless them all. Thank
What
you
do we
so
think
much.
of Roger Payne?
So, thank you.